Hi, this is Ian James Corlett, and you are listening to Pixels in the Animation.
Colonel William Guile, one of the greatest martial artists in the world, travels the global tournament circuit, using it to conceal his top-secret mission as leader of an elite group of international crime fighters known only by their code name, Street Fighter. The heroic man-beast, Blanca, hard-kicking fighting machine, Chun-Li. And a team of the most amazing warriors ever seen have joined forces with Guile to combat the criminal empire of Shadaloo and its superhuman leader, Bison. They have their own code of honor, discipline, justice, commitment, and together they will triumph against the forces of evil. Street Fighter!
Hello and welcome to Pixels in the Animation. This is episode 61. I am one of your hosts, Steve Sharon Mike, and joining me is TV's Mr. Nail.
The pipes are broken.
Call Mario and Luigi. Or don't.
Everyone
What?
listening to this, tell Mike what Homestar is.
For a minute, I thought you were going to make a home improvement reference for some odd
No,
reason.
you're way off.
Yeah, I'm sure. And today we will be continuing the Street Fighter coverage. This is Season 1, Part 2.
You said a week ago that this cartoon was better than the Mortal Kombat cartoon. You're crazy. This is awful.
It slowly declines, I will admit. It slowly declines, but
Started bad.
what I said was, I believe I did say that, yes, I'm not going to say that I didn't, but what I really meant was the voice acting in this is better than the voice acting in Mortal Kombat. So yeah, we're here to talk about more Street Fighter. We have the final 6 episodes of Season 1. The medium is in the message. Eye of the Beholder. Hand that feeds you. Keeping the peace. Channel Vision. And Strange Bedfellows. Oh God. I think we're just going to get right into it because the medium is the message episode. The title of that reminded me of I don't know how many different episodes of Mask, and let's face it, the Mask episodes weren't all that different from each other. So medium is the message. A Street Fighter tournament is being held in India, and Escher sends Guile and the rest of the Street Fighters to compete. Bison is attending as well and has a double threat of a plan. Use his new mutant combatants to destroy the Street Fighters, or have Balrog create a false video of the Street Fighters defiling a Hindu temple. Both of Bison's plans fail when Guile saves the captured scientist and performs the flash kick on a time bomb. Okay, first of all, I know you're exasperated. I know you're going to go off of this, but these two plots, the mutant fighters versus the Street Fighters, and Balrog creating a false tape. More specifically, Balrog creating a false tape reminds me of, I forget which episode, what is it, Megatron's Master Plan, where the Decepticons dress up as the Autobots and they film. You know what I mean?
That was a bad episode.
I know it was a bad episode, but that's the first thing I thought of when I saw about Balrog and the tape and everything else, because I just remember Spike having to basically run away from Ravage.
Yeah. And then the tape got destroyed, and that was a complete non sequitur. Mm-hmm. But we're reviewing the wrong cartoon. This cartoon, the first thing I thought was, Dear Balrog, how do you type with boxing gloves on?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Another Homestar reference. 2 on 1 show.
Think you can go 3 for 3?
Oh.
Oh boy. But this episode was so... I thought we already resolved the whole Blanca thing. Like, they're still continuing to draw that out like a bad soap opera?
Well, got 13 episodes in a season. You have to kind of unresolve some of the episodes, or else, give Vega an episode. Oh wait, he did have an episode.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it. But you got 12 World Warriors. Each one is going to get an episode, and there's going to be some that are going to overlap because you can't just stick to one character. So yeah, we're going to have another Blanca episode, and I'm sure we're going to have another one for the next season too.
At least it's not Chun-Li consistently bitching over Bison killing her dad. The only good thing about this episode for me was and it's not that hard to spot, folks, because it's a giant logo. Every giant logo shows up, you immediately notice it. The Capcom logo.
Yes.
On the container holding Bison's creatures. That was hilarious. This one, I mean, the plot makes no sense.
Oh, just this one?
No, I'm saying, like, more than the other. Like, Bison had two different. He basically had a main plan. He had a plan A and a plan B. Mm-hmm. What he failed to realize is you also need a plan C and D in case plan A and B fail, which means that would make the show 45 minutes instead of 30 minutes or 21 minutes or whatever it is without ads or whatever. But yeah, you should probably stick to one plan, Bison, because if you do more than one, it's probably going to fall back on you, which it obviously did. Any thoughts on medium in the message?
No. As this cartoon goes on, as this podcast goes on, I just get more and more exasperated. Like, I run out of things to say. You can only say, this sucks so many times.
Mm-hmm. I'm only going to give this a 2 simply because of the Capcom logo.
I'm going to give it I got to give it a 0.
Okay.
Just the tournament of mutants, the generic mutants.
Yeah, they couldn't even get like a...
You couldn't even...
Bebop
You couldn't get a Darkstalkers cameo?
Or a Bebop, or a Rocksteady, or a Toka and a Razar, anything. Hell, even put Kevin Nash in there in Super Shredder mode, and there you go.
God.
Eye of the Beholder is up next. Oh, this one's written by one of our favorite writers, Doug Booth.
Oh, no. Why are you forsaking us, Doug Booth? He used to do G.I. Joe.
Word comes in that a scientist in Hawaii is concocting a serum that could help Blanca revert to his human form.
Now that I think about it, this does sound like a G.I. Joe plot.
Mm-hmm. Vega also hears of the serum and wants to use it to make himself eternally young. Vega captures the scientist and holds him for ransom. Blanca is forced to give Vega the cure in exchange for the doctor's life. Vega drops the vial of serum from within the situation, losing his only chance for immortality. Wouldn't it have just been easier for him to fly to fucking Florida and find the Fountain of Youth? And Vega's whole thing, and maybe you can school me on this just a little bit because I'm not too up on Vega's stuff here, but his whole gimmick is he believes he is the ugliest person in the world. That's why he wants the Fountain of Youth, even though his face is not... He's not a monster.
Well, I always saw Vega as being excessively vain. He doesn't want anyone touching his beautiful face. And that's why he wears the mask.
Yeah. This one, let me see here. So, my first note for this one, this is all about what Blanca thinks he wants. And then, there's a love story. It's like, Attack of the Clones. But not as bad as that love story.
Well, nothing can be as bad as Attack of the Clones. That is, I've gone on record, that is the worst movie I think I've ever seen.
These plots are bad, but they're not as bad as some of the generic plots that Defenders used. Any thoughts on Eye of the Beholder?
Well, this is the first... actually, no, this is the second time we've seen alpha characters. The first one was in the last episode that we forgot to mention. There was a cameo by Guy and a couple other alpha characters. Also, the first time... I'm commenting on the last episode. First time we saw Final Fight characters as well. In this one we see Blanca transform back into, I'm going to use finger quotes, Charlie, because he doesn't look like he's the design of the Charlie from the game, but he's colored wrong.
Blame the animators.
I don't know. Blame the color key guy. They have color keys that they send to the animators, and they failed.
Maybe the color key guy was wearing boxing gloves.
Possibly.
I mean, like I complained about the last episode with the whole Blanca storyline of him wanting to be human again, etc. This one, it's more... It's not necessarily, for me, are they done with it yet? But it's more of, oh, they actually have a way for him to become human again. But since this cartoon aired, I've seen the original, the good, and I do use air quotes for that, but compared to the third movie that they tried to do, the good Fantastic Four movie with Michael Chiklis as Ben Grimm, that's essentially what this plot line is Blanca is essentially the Thing.
Pretty much. I wouldn't be surprised if this was like a Thing storyline from the comics and they just kind of lifted it. There's a lot of incestuous stealing of ideas. Because a lot of these guys, they work with the comic book guys. I mean, oh my god, I can't remember the guy's name. The guy who wrote the episode of Return of Optimus Prime was actually a comic book guy. So yeah, there's a lot of crossover between these cartoon writers and the comic book writers.
Wasn't that Wise?
What?
David Wise?
No, that was Marv Wolfman. That's one.
Oh, Marv Wolfman. Yeah. All right. What would you give Blanca's love story?
1, because I was at least sort of amused by Vega.
Yeah, I'm about the same pace. Up next, The Hand That Feeds You. Why did I want this to be the hand that rocks the cradle for some odd reason?
I don't know.
Ryu's cousin Sashi Soshi goes missing in Hong Kong while the Street Fighters are investigating a local drug operation. Action star Fei Long says he'll show Guile the secrets of the city if Guile teaches him how to use chi energy attacks. Eventually, Ryu and Ken get captured by the drug runners, and it's up to Guile and Fei Long to save them all. Can Ryu and Ken be used any worse than this?
No. I mean, I would almost say the movie, but the movie was sort of trying to be funny, and it was funny in spots. Like that, when we first see them put the gis on in the movie and they're kind of like pretending to be Shadow Lu guys, that was at least funny. This is awful.
Yeah. I mean, as much as I love Scott McNeil as Ken, and he does have some good lines in this, but wow.
You mean like, oh, Guile, it's so you.
I think it's more so I just like hearing the Proto Man voice come out of Ken.
What I don't like hearing coming out of Ken is anytime they do the moves from the game, and these American actors, they're trying their hardest, but they are not pronouncing these moves right.
But yeah,
I can't even pronounce that Hurricane Kick name. It's got like 5 syllables.
Yep. This one, Speaking of kick, the electric kick, oh my god. The move that Fei Long ends up with, that is by far the stupidest thing I've seen in this series.
Yes.
When it comes to any of the actual moves that they're doing, that is the dumbest thing. He's essentially just hopping on one foot and kicking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god. And there's one more season of this show. Make it stop, people.
How did it get 2 seasons?
I don't know.
Was there just nothing on USA?
This is 95, 96. No, there was stuff on USA, I think.
Well, I think they had like 4 original shows, and the only thing they had to fall back on was like the syndicated stuff. They're like, oh, we got to continue this.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with Cartoon Express.
Yeah, there was nothing wrong with it when it was Hanna-Barbera.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. What would you give The Hand That Feeds You?
1.
I'm gonna give it a 2. I like Fei Long's eventual, I guess you could say, his character progression, but as far as like him actually learning, the reason why I'm gonna give it a 2 is I like that they don't just drop him trying to learn the chi moves. Like some of these cartoons will have characters say, "Oh, I want to learn this." They spend 2 seconds on it, and then instantly they're a master at it. And by the end of this, he was no master, but at least he was still learning. Up next, we have Keeping the Peace. Somebody please call the leader of Carbamia, because even that's better than this. A small city near Shadaloo is in chaos. As rare diamonds have been found to be rich in the region. Sagat and many other warlords are looking about. Each faction wants a piece of the pie. Guile is asked by Escher to check out the situation on behalf of the Street Fighters. Meanwhile, Sawada
is a character from the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember him. I just want to make sure I get the pronunciation right. Has taken over Guile's former position in the Allied nations and is currently in charge of the military presence. Hostilities run high as Guile manages to defuse several bombs in the area with the help of his sonic boom attack. Okay, I am sorry. I would much rather have Riggs and Roger cut the wrong wire than have Guile and his sonic boom. Like, you mean to tell me that a sonic boom is not gonna let? What did they say it was? C4? Did they say what kind of charge it was?
If it was C4, technically he was safe because C4 specifically requires an electrical charge for it to explode.
Mm-hmm.
You could light it on fire and it won't do anything. But still, that was like the dumbest thing ever. He disarmed the bomb with a sonic boom.
Yeah. I could see like Superman doing that, like, using the sonic boom, flying. Like, I could see that because he's moving faster and all that. But I am sorry, Guile basically clapping his hands and one or two, or however many fireballs come out of his hands. That's no, just no. The only good thing about this episode, the only reason why I'm even going to give this episode not a 0 is Chun-Li at the pool. Sagat as the villain. At least they're rotating out villains a bit. I mean, at least it's not M. Bison every single episode.
Although it does get... It still seems weird that these characters are just hanging around in their fighting uniforms. Like, you got Sagat who never takes off those trunks.
Yeah.
It's just so bizarre.
Do you think that's more of a thing of Capcom wanting them in the fighting uniforms the entire time?
Possibly,
that way?
But I would have negotiated a little bit. I would have been like, come on, they can't be in these costumes all the time. It looks stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Any other thoughts on this one?
No, just that this was the most heavily referenced of the movie of any of the episodes thus far.
And at the same time, even though it was that, it was still a boring keep the peace, fight the peace. I mean, I would rather watch the Quintesson Journal than watch this again.
Yeah, this is like one of those Deke episodes of G.I. Joe where, they were trying to be like a little more nicey nice and not so much.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a specific episode I'm thinking of, and I can't really identify it by name. But yeah, there's Deke episodes of G.I. Joe that remind me of this.
What would you give this one for a rating?
I'll give it a 2 because the sonic boom disarming of the bomb made me laugh.
So we get to the second to last episode for this podcast, Tunnel Vision.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Keeping the Peace was written by Matt Edens. Tunnel Vision was written by Len Wein. Why? I love Len. I do. I love Len Wein. I love his writing, but why? Did he need a paycheck that week?
I guess so.
Something? Bison finally gets captured at the hands of Cammy's former British teammates, Delta Red. Sounds like Omega Red, but whatever. While the world thinks that Bison's capture is the first step to Shadaloo's destruction, Bison's supporters randomly start blowing up locations in England and threatens that it will continue until Bison is released, along with a £2 billion payoff. Zangief places bombs in a specific tunnel that connects the train track between England and France, so it's up to Guile, DJ, Honda, and Cammy to prevent the tunnel's destruction. The cool thing about this episode, and the reason why I don't really question that Len Wein wrote it, because actually he wrote damn good character development or backstory for at least one of the characters. We finally get to see where Cammy came from.
Right.
So I did like that. I do like how it played out. Honestly, it might be the most solid episode out of season 1.
Possibly.
Yeah. You talk about they always want them in their fighting uniforms. There's so many times where I wanted Cammy in some other clothing, because just to cover up her legs, because the green paint on her legs is just, ugh.
I didn't mind it. Again, this is another episode where the animators are clearly enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
Because there were some not only cute shots of Cammy, but also some nice drawings of the other character whose name I'm kind of blanking on at the moment.
Yeah. Any thoughts on Tunnel Vision? Because this plot is your standard. Oh, I'm gonna blow up the underground train.
Yeah. Just that the tunnel is actually a real thing. It's
right. It's
a tunnel that goes under the ocean that connects Great Britain to France.
Right.
Other than that, I don't remember if this is the episode that has Guile climbing up the side of a wall. It might have been, but I don't remember. I didn't write it down. But that was ridiculous. The only other note I have is that this is the episode that kind of shows that Guile might be a love interest for Cammy, and that the other character that will be in the next episode is starting to go away.
Chun-Li?
No, that random.
The blonde. Oh yeah, his ex.
Yeah.
I just don't know about Guile and Cammy. Like, it just doesn't seem like that would fit.
No, I never got that either. It's just that's just something from the movie that they're like, well, we need something to justify Cammy, so maybe she's with Guile, and no Cammy fan would ever accept that.
Yeah, that's true. What would you give Tunnel Vision?
I'll give it a 2, I guess.
I kind of dug it. It's the only reason why I kind of dug it is because we get so much background on Cammy, and she's not made up. Again, goes back to the writing, Len Wein writing the episode. she isn't made out to be, some whore who's just throwing herself at Guile.
Well,
Because that's what she's been made to look like to me in the past episodes that we talked about her.
to be fair, see, here's the thing about Cammy. She is the most ridiculously overdeveloped character in the entire Street Fighter franchise, and I don't know why. Because first of all, she's got two sides where she's got the evil side and the good side, and there's so much backstory with her. They made like 12 other girls, just to be part of her backstory that are also in the game. It's just utterly absurd. There's, like I said somewhere else, there are more Cammy clones than there are Ken and Ryu clones.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's easy to develop her character because there's so much material to work with.
Mm. I gave it a 3.5. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
And closing out season 1, we have Strange Bedfellows. A mysterious warrior starts destroying both Bison strongholds as well as those under the Street Fighter jurisdiction. Both sides blame the other, and it eventually comes down to Bison and Guile meeting on a volcanic island for a final showdown. However, I'm sorry, it essentially comes down to Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi meeting on Mustafar, sorry. However, clumsy clues were given to both warriors, which lead them to the location of the battle by none other than Akuma himself. Akuma wants both Bison and Guile to fight each other to the death, where Akuma will then destroy the winner and steal their chi. Bison and Guile are forced to work together to eventually attack Akuma. Despite Bison and Guile's reluctant teamwork, Akuma is able to escape via teleportation, and that both Bison and Guile decide to postpone their own battle and head their separate ways, much to the shock and disbelief of their own teammates. Wow, I can't talk tonight. Can you get any more standard than this when it comes to a cartoon plot?
Yeah, how many episodes of Transformers did we have Optimus Prime team up with Megatron/Galvatron to solve a mutual problem? I mean, there's what was it, that one of the
Ultimate Doom.
Yeah, there was that. There was obviously the Return of Optimus Prime. There was also one of the Combaticon episodes. I believe it was the second one where they had to team up again.
Yep.
So this is so done to death. It's only because we grew up in the 80s that we recognize the story.
Pretty much. And so the coolest thing about this episode, I think the only reason why I gave it the rating I gave it, and I don't know, you can tell me, and we've talked about this, was there anything Mortal Kombat, anything, not just the video game, was there anything before the first game came out? Of Mortal Kombat.
Well, there was, before Mortal Kombat, yeah, there was Street Fighter 2.
No. I'm saying the Mortal Kombat franchise. Did the first game start the franchise, or what was there other, were there books? Was there anything else before the first game?
Oh, yeah, the first game was the beginning of the franchise, totally.
Okay. So they stole a line from Street Fighter. Finish him!
Yeah.
Is in this episode.
I did make note of that.
So Mortal Kombat ripped that off. Akuma, who? Is he an alpha fighter, I guess? I don't remember him in Street Fighter 2.
Well, you know what? This cartoon would have come after the debut of Mortal Kombat, so this cartoon took the line from Mortal Kombat.
Oh, dang. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Damn it. So Akuma, who? Is he one of the alpha fighters, or is he in Street Fighter 2?
He was the very last character to be added to the last iteration of Street Fighter 2. He's like the super secret boss. He's your typical super boss. Like Mike Tyson at the end of Punch-Out, who's just way overpowered and will just mop the floor with you unless you're totally prepared for him. In fact, he doesn't even show up unless you are just way too good at the game. That's kind of his character, is that he doesn't really take interest in you unless you show that you've got a lot of fighting potential, and then he wants to fight you. Which is kind of represented here, but I don't know, the whole Chi thing I kind of roll my eyes at. It's not really what he was. He's just like this really strong guy who's kind of like he's almost like the Darth Vader of the Ken and Ryu clan. He's like this guy who uses the power for the wrong reasons and isn't afraid to kill people for his victory. But he's got a really strange code of honor. It's like he doesn't mind if he gets killed. You know, it's all about the fighting for him.
Yeah.
But,
that's just crazy.
Right.
This is a really weird season finale. Like, do they set this up to come back in the second season? Like, is this supposed to be a cliffhanger where they just leave off and not fight? I mean,
I think this is one of those, this might be the last episode, so let's wrap it up so it can be, but also leave it open in case we get a second season.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
Yeah.
That sucks. Any other thoughts on Strange Bedfellows?
Just the ending, how, like, there's a truce at the end, which is, again, have to go back to Transformers, where it's
there will be no fighting today, Optimus Prime. Galvatron, you have earned Galvatron's respect.
You have earned Galvatron's respect, yes.
Yep.
And I'm just like, why? Why did you do that?
Yeah. It's like they copied it right out of the book.
Right.
And they just put their own characters in it. I'm going to give this one a 1.5, I guess. What about you?
Give it a 1.
Yeah. And that's that's the episode, folks. That's it. I mean, I'm kind of getting like, even when I watch these, I tried doing nitpick notes on these episodes, and they're just so out there that nitpicks aren't even worth, it's not even worth writing down a nitpick. It's not even worth mentioning that Guile's hair is in the wrong place, or the animation is out of style, or something, you know, one of the windows in one of the buildings, one of the backgrounds is missing, or it's just not even worth it at this point.
Yeah, the animation itself is all over the place. Sometimes it's okay, and then other times it's really bad. Like the last episode, the animation was, I'm not gonna say it was good, but it was better than average for this cartoon. Like there was some really good animation, and then there was some, mostly it was just kind of bad. And notice that the one shot, God, what's the name of that character? I cannot remember her name, but it's like Guile's old girlfriend. They show her like in a random swimsuit, splashing around in the water, and like almost immediately the animators suddenly become very good.
Yep. Oh man, what is her name? It's Cindy. That's what it is. Cindy something. She's a doctor of quadrantology or some stupid shit. I don't know. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break, come back with final thoughts, and hopefully what we may or may not expect for season 2. I'm pretty sure the bar isn't very high, so we'll be back.
You sure you made the right choice, Cammy? Your special forces has first-rate benefits and a heck of a pension plan.
Why bother? Working with you, Colonel, there's no way I'm ever going to make it to retirement anyway.
Come on.
It's action. It's drama. It's comedy. It's Decian, the superhero webcomic. Decian's got superhero antics and sexy girls. Read it now at Decian.com. DASIEN.com.
After all these years, the pure, simple joy of Guile's obliteration.
You've gotten sloppy with age. Though I admit the microchip clue was elegant.
I have no idea what you mean. You lured me here with that clumsy map. What map? You know very well. I know you hurt innocent people! No one is innocent! That's the difference between us, Bison. You think everyone is as corrupt as you are. I have no time for your pitiful attempts at psychoanalysis. You think you defeated me in Shadaloo? There'll be no question this time! Excellent! Excellent! Finish him.
All right, folks, we are back, and really quick before we close out, you have anything that you want to see out of season 2? Any characters? Anything that's gonna not necessarily turn your opinion around or anything else, but anything that's gonna at least give you some glimmer of hope?
I know there's no hope coming. I know it's coming. There's a whole lot of if you didn't get your fill of Cammy this season, you're going to get a whole lot more of it next season. Because she gets a whole lot more character development. And I think there's another Akuma episode, and I think we see more of the alpha characters. And we get Sakura, whose name is pronounced extremely incorrectly in one episode. Which I'm normally not a stickler about that, but the way it's pronounced in one of the episodes is just bad, and they should feel bad.
What have you got coming up for your drawing stuff or anything like that? Anything you want to pimp out?
Not this week because there ain't nothing going on.
Ain't nothing going on, folks. All right. Thank you for joining us here on Pixels in the Animation. There are several ways to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com. You can comment on this and all of our other episode posts. Email us feedback@geekcastradio.com. Leave the show's feedback on iTunes. Please do this. Follow us on Twitter @geekcastradio is the network Twitter. Mine is TF2 and Mike. What is your Twitter?
Neil Sama. It also... Sorry, I just saw something on the internet and I got tongue-tied. Peelin Bailey on Twitter.
All right. Become a fan on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/GeekCastRadio Network. You can also check out Neil's Classic Gaming and Decian over there as well. Call the voicemail line. Tell us the show you're leaving the message for. End your name. 502-526-5821. There is a 5-minute time limit. We hope you enjoyed the latest episode of Pixels in the Animation. Wish you'll join us next time when we'll be reviewing the first 7 episodes from Street Fighter Season 2. Those being The Hammer Strikes, Cammy and the ABC Bachelor.
God, no.
A New Kind of Evil, The World's Greatest Warrior, and So You Want to Be in Pictures, Face of Fury, and Cammy Must Die. So You Want to Be in Pictures. Can we just replace that episode with a better one with that title? You Ought to Be in Pictures with Porky and Daffy. Can we just talk about Porky and Daffy for that whole part of the show?
I would love to talk about Porky and Daffy.
For now, I am TF2 and Mike with
TV's Mr. Neil.
Tune in next time and help us find the pixels in the animation. Yeah, Porky and Daffy for the win, folks. Oh, God.